let's talk about this Beyonce story. So Beyonce, she put out a new hair care line called Cécred, and I came across this video on TikTok of this woman decoding some of the spiritual meanings behind the messaging that Beyonce is putting out behind this new hair care line. And I thought this was super interesting. So I wanted to share this and have a conversation about it. Let me play this video and then we can talk about it further.
I want her to talk about Beyonce and Taylor in Cécred. This is going to be a lot of information, so try to keep up. So Cécred is Beyonce's hair care product that she actually recently came out with. Though it is spelled that way, Beyonce does pronounce it as sacred. For people that may or may not understand, the word sacred means to set apart for the worship of a deity, or to make something or declare something as holy. And even in her small promotional video she did for the actual hair care line, she had stated that hair has power, which it does. Now keep in mind, if you actually pay attention to the products and the design of the bottle, the designs actually look very similar, and they are very symbolic and actually go back to looking similarities to the pillars. And you would also realize that Beyonce recently changed her stage name to Bey over the course of years instead. Now, if you look up the word Bey, it actually belongs to the nation of Moors, which they are associated with ancient Moabites. And the name Bey or Il actually goes back to the name Mo, which is actually Abraham's nephew. Now, the Moabites were actually mentioned over a course of history multiple times, but they actually worship a deity named Chemosh. And the deity Chemosh, he is actually a deity that actually requires human sacrifices in order for you to get what you want in manifestations or victory or battle wins. They even made a sacred tablet in the Moabites actually worshiping the deity Chemosh. And Beyonce has actually gave tribute to him multiple times over the course of her career during durations of albums. This is why it's very imperative to pay attention to who you allow yourself to listen to, because these people are doing a lot of stuff behind closed doors, and they are putting you in worldwide rituals, and you are unknowingly actually participating in them. But y'all guys stay safe.
She said they are putting you in worldwide rituals and you are unknowingly participating in them. This is the website for Cécred. It says fermented rice and rose protein ritual. Now, I don't think that that's a coincidence that they're using the word ritual. And I understand that you could say like, oh, they probably just mean like routine, like use this hair care product as part of your, routine. But they could have just said that. Instead, they chose to use the word ritual. In addition to what was just said on that TikTok video that was broken down, and in addition to the name of the actual company, it doesn't sit right in my spirit. It doesn't sit right in my spirit. It really doesn't. It says Beyonce's hair care line Cécred is available now. The beauty brand pronounced Cécred has been 6 years in the making. I don't think that's a coincidence, if you know what I'm saying. And the article basically goes on to say that, she made this brand because Black women are not represented when it comes to hair care. And a lot of the research and development that is done for new products is not research and development that is beneficial to the texture of Black women's hair. And there's ultimately not very many products on the market that cater to the specific needs of Black women. Now, the company is for all types of hair types, but that was one of the key statements that she had made as to why that she created this brand in the first place. I just find it interesting. Like, there's all this talk about that you made this for black women, and then literally the highlighted picture on your website is a white woman with blonde hair performing this rice water rose protein ritual. I don't know. And a lot of people want to defend Beyonce, and a lot of people want to say like, oh, well, you know, she's a Christian and she's a believer and give her some grace and this, that, and the third. I mean, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, then just say that. Just say you love Jesus. Say that Jesus is Lord. Just say that. Just make it very clear. Because all of these things that she's doing, it don't look like the fruits of the Holy Spirit. It looks like the fruit of a demonic spirit. And I was reminded of this video that Jackie Hill Perry posted. I haven't even watched this full video, but I don't know why this video just came to my head. And I want to share just this small segment of this verse that she's reading, because it applies to what we're talking about perfectly.
Participants with demons. They offer to demons and not to God. Listen, I do not want you, Christians, to be participants with demons. They're going to the altar, or they're going to the temple to simply eat food. The food is being sacrificed to idols. The Christians recognize that idols are not real gods, and therefore they assume that there is no spiritual consequence to eating the food. Paul has to warn them and saying, you know something, but you're ignorant to another thing, which is that even if they are sacrificing the food to an idol that it is not a real God, there is a spiritual dimension behind the idol that is demonic. And so by virtue of you taking part in the food that was sacrificed, you are also fellowshipping with the demon the food was sacrificed to. And I think that is potentially the principle that needs to be applied to our participation with certain music, concerts,
products, beauty products, really any product. And this is what I was saying is like, all these companies, we use all of these different products on a daily basis, whether it's skincare products or toothpaste or hygiene products or food, anything that you can think of. We use all these products on a daily basis. Very rarely are we checking to see what the people at the top of that company truly believe in. Very rarely are we testing the spirits of the products that we consume and interact with on a daily basis. Very rarely. And that's why I was saying, I don't know how many videos ago I was saying this, but we need more Christian everything. Anything that you can think of, we need Christians to start producing it. Whether it be content, whether it be beauty products, whether it be cars, whether it be anything. We need true believers of Jesus Christ to start working with their hands and producing products and putting those products out in the marketplace so that we don't have to interact and fellowship with these demons through these products. And a lot of people probably don't agree with this, but I mean, even you look at, different products on the market like Liquid Death. You remember there was a whole conversation about Liquid Death, and there was this video that came out. Liquid Death is the water company, for those of you who don't remember. There's this whole video that came out of Liquid Death, and they had made this like parody video that said that they brought real witches in to pray over the water. And then we have Christians who are consuming this product. I don't know.
Ever is that even if we have the insight to know that It's just music. It's just food. The spiritual reality at play inclines us to be wise in saying, but I cannot fellowship with demons. I cannot do it. Here's the heavier part. He says, verse 21, this is 1 Corinthians 10, by the way. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord. He's talking about communion, the Lord's Supper, and the cup of demons. Meaning that when you take part in communion, there's a fellowship with Christ and an association with Christ's body because of the fellowship of the Lord's Supper. And he then draws that out into them eating meat sacrificed to idols, which is in the same way taking part in the Lord's Supper is fellowship with Christ and identification with Christ's body. Then also in the same way, when you eat meat sacrificed to idols, there is fellowship with demons and identification with the idolaters that are doing the work. And so what is at stake then is a matter of witness and a matter of fellowship, because there are people who may see your partnership with certain artists, and by partnership I simply mean just being in the temple, being in the concert, that it does something to their conscience, where now they don't have the same tools and the same wisdom and the same knowledge you have, but because you're there, they can then assume that they're in the right place too, right? So it's a matter of witness, but it's also a matter of fellowship. I don't know. I can't speak to the implications of what fellowship with demons is, because the text doesn't say it, right? Because there are times when we can listen to certain music or watch certain things or go to certain places and there is no discernible negative effect, right? So let's say, I used to listen to 3 6 Mafia all the time, right? I never felt like I got possessed. I didn't have no demon manifest in my room. Yeah. So I could assume that because I can't discern the negative effects, that means that there aren't any. So that's why I feel like faith and trust has to be a part of this, because we can't judge the goodness of a thing on the basis of how do I say this again? Okay, let me back up. Genesis 3, Eve, there's a tree. She says the tree looks good for food. It is a delight to the eyes, and if I eat it, I'm gonna be wise. She judged the goodness of the tree by its effect. It looks good, it's gonna taste good, therefore it is good. That's bad judgment, and that's bad wisdom. We do not judge goodness that way. How do we judge goodness? By what God has said in his word. Goodness is revealed in Christ himself. So if it aligns with the nature of God, therefore then it is good. So for example,
if it aligns, and I'll let y'all watch the full video on your own time. If it aligns with the nature of God, therefore it is good. So just to wrap this up, maybe the product works. Maybe the product does everything it says it does and then some. But does that mean that you should be using it? Does that mean that you should be consuming it? Does that mean that you should be a customer? Does that mean that you should support this company with your money, or any company that doesn't align with Jesus Christ? Just because something is good on paper, just because it passes the eye test, it doesn't mean that it's going to be beneficial to your spirit. And this is a tricky topic because it's like, bro, I don't want y'all to be paranoid and be checking everything that you're using and everything that you're drinking and eating and everything like that. But I think it is a healthy practice to get to know the leadership of the companies that you support on a daily basis or on a monthly basis. Get to know the leadership of those companies. What do they believe in? What do they stand for? Does it align with the goodness of Jesus Christ? That's all I'm saying. All right.